Have you ever asked yourself the question, how can I just get my children to obey me? Well, there is a way to properly train your children to respond in willing obedience. The key word here is train, and that key word means to mold the character, instruct by exercise, drill, to make obedient to orders, to put or point in an exact direction like you would shoot an arrow, to prepare for a contest. This is how we want to train our children. We want to point them in the right direction. This training has totally changed my family. It brought peace and joy instead of anger and frustration. And what I mean by that is you tell your children, go pick up your toys. Do they go pick up your toys? No, not until you have to tell them 2 or 3 times. By the time you get done, you're so angry that you spank them in anger and your correction isn't in the right way. The next thing is you want to learn how to tell your children one time, Angie, go pick up your toys. Then if she doesn't do it, you gently go over, spank her, put her in your lap, tell her exactly what she did wrong, and love on her. They learn that you mean it after saying it one time. This is going to help them in life. Now, one of the most controversial methods of discipline is spanking. Some parents believe that you should spank your children, while others believe that you should never spank your child. The reason for this is there are many different definitions. Strauss says that spanking means to paddle your child on the bottom. And others think that spanking means to whip, to hit, or to beat. But let's see what God says. He's the final authority. Proverbs 23:13 and 14 says, don't fail to correct your children. They won't die if you spank them. Physical discipline may well save them from death. But now let's look at history and statistics. Through lack of discipline, there is now a rise in juvenile delinquency to the point of explosion. The American Bar Association reports juvenile crime even to the point of physical crime all the way to death overflows in the courts and even in children as young as 12 years old. In the 2005 NEA Today, David Mason writes, defiance, chaos, threats, cursings, assaults are behaviors from rare to frequent in many schools since the elimination of corporal punishment. That was a big mistake, letting go of corporal punishment. Americans today are realizing that we need to bring parental authority back and discipline back into our homes and into our schools. David Mason wrote an article in the NEA Today in 2005. The occasional spanking of a boy or girl for bad behavior provides an immediate, painful consequence that can convince them and their friends to pay attention. So it could be a good thing. In the Gallup poll survey, they interviewed 1,000 Americans, and over 76% of them revealed that spanking in their home was a correct form of discipline. In the 2005 article in Good Housekeeping by Marian Asnes, teens need this kind of structure, says child and adolescent development expert Mel Levine, MD, author of Ready or Not, Here Life Comes. For after all, He adds, the adult world is full of non-negotiable expectations, and grown-ups, for example, must fulfill the demands of their jobs and pay their bills on time. So this is a necessary skill that we need to learn how to discipline our children correctly. In Proverbs 20 and 30, physical punishment cleanses away evil. Such discipline purifies the heart. That discipline is not a punishment, and it never needs to be administered through anger. Correct discipline teaches self-confidence and self-discipline. In a 2010 article in the Law and Contemporary Problems, Kristen Cope wrote, some studies indicate that corporal punishment, when used properly, serves its purposes better than alternative means of discipline, and researchers suggest that parents using corporal punishment achieve positive results when they are communicative and affectionate, but firm. In conclusion, the Bible has consequences for no discipline. Proverbs 29:15 says to discipline and reprimand a child produces wisdom, but a mother is disgraced by an undisciplined child. Proverbs 13:18 says, he who ignores discipline comes to poverty and shame, but whoever heeds correction is honored. And finally, Proverbs 29:17, discipline your children and they will give you happiness and peace of mind.